What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new video. My name is Wiz and I'm happy to be with you guys today. So right now I'm gonna be real honest with you. You want to be an artist, you read the title of the video, you were interested, you clicked on the video, and you want to give becoming an artist a go. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, everything that I've learned, everything that I've kind of accomplished in the last 5 years, I will share on this particular video because I do feel it's important for young artists to understand the process of what you're getting yourself into. Right now, I'm on my way to the gym, and obviously, when it comes to artists, the first thing that I'm gonna share with you: do not allow art to dictate your lifestyle. When I say that, why I say that and the reason that I'm starting off the conversation this way is because if you look around in the art community, everybody seems or has this mindset of staying in your room, working 100% of the time, doing nothing but art. And to be honest with you guys, that's a very dangerous trap, not only because you're staying inside the room the entire time, but also because your art can become stale. And if you, for any artist that has been an artist for a while, I feel like those are the artists that actually can relate to that statement, because the more art you do and the more art you make, the more repetitive some things can become. Not in the sense of what you're creating, but more so in the sense of getting in the zone and getting in the motion of creating the art that you create. And because for me, I've been able to build systems around my art, so I have to put myself in a particular state of mind or mindset for me to be able to start and complete an art piece. This comes from projects, this comes from commission work, and this comes from my personal IP when I decide to work on such things, right? So the first thing, have a life outside of art. Do not think that you have to be drawing every single day, because there's a lot of information out there that will tell you you need to draw every single day. I believe that when you start off, it's a good thing, and the reason that I believe that many people share that mindset or that nugget or whatever advice they might be telling you about create art every single day is because when you start off, that is an important aspect of the journey. When you start off, many artists start at different levels. So if you never drawn, or if you never picked up a pencil or picked up a tablet or done anything creative in that sense, that would be a good exercise to start with. Yeah, start with creating every single day in whatever medium you decide to do that with. So that's not a bad advice, but for artists that have been doing that, let's say for the last year, for the last 6 months, and you're still doing that, I believe that's not the best practice, because you're not allowing yourself to go experience life and captivate yourself with different things that you might see out there, or that are out there in general, that will motivate you to come back to your desk and create art. So that's the first thing. Second thing, have expectations, but be realistic about those expectations. When you start off, and this is me talking from a point of view where I thought that I had talent from a young age, because I've always been an artist since I was little. I've gone through phases of life where I stopped drawing because, for one, high school had a lot to do with that, but also because I was lazy, so it's a combination of things. So if you have expectations of making money right away or making it in a career, and you have responsibilities that are real responsibilities, like you have to pay your rent, you have to pay for food, you have to pay your living, basically your living style, your living expenses, and you expect to get wealthy overnight just because you see a lot of people, or the people that you consume content from have a lot of followers, or they are able to do full-time art stuff, and you want to get there, keep in mind that everyone's journey is different, and the possibility that you might become that person overnight is almost non-existent. It's very difficult for artists to make it a living overnight. But that does not mean that it can't happen. Do what you're doing because you're really interested in it, and allow yourself to grow through the moment, through time, and see where that takes you. Do not set expectations of making it a career overnight, because there is people out there that actually did go to art school and still they have not been able to make art their career. They've been trying to figure that out for years. So if you're just starting off, be realistic with yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself, meaning that if your art is not where you want it to be, don't be just dismissive about yourself. Give yourself the effort, give yourself the credit that you deserve based on where you're at. The third thing, do not compare yourself from other artists, but embrace other artists. And let me explain what I mean by that. I'm in the group of believers or artists that believes that you are competing against other people. At some point, I believe that you're competing against yourself, but at the beginning, you are definitely competing against yourself. But as you have put in your time and effort to art and creating art, you have to understand that if you're part of a community, if you are part of a industry, there's other people trying to do and doing what you're trying to do. So what that means to you, and so let me explain what that means to you, at least from my point of view. If there's other people doing the same things you're doing, or not saying identically the same things, you have to embrace that those artists exist and learn from them if they are in a position that you want to be one day. So this is where the aspect of you versus you, I've learned to throw that away or put that to the side, because if you have not been, if you're not a famous artist, or you have not been able to sell out your art at any point in time, and you're trying to do that, or get to know that the only way that you're going to learn to do those things is by trial and error, and also learning from people that already did that. So for example, for me, when I started off, when I decided that art was going to be a life-term journey for me, that I was committing to art for the rest of my life, and this happened to me back in 2020. When I decided and made the decision, I started to embrace and look into artists that already were doing what I wanted to do, and also seeing how good they were in real life. How good were they? Is this something that are they good because they got help, or are they good because they generally have something original to provide to the market? Because sometimes if you take a look at certain artists, you might portray their art not to be good because it's just either abstract or whatever the case might be. But just because their art might not be appealing to you, or your art might not be in the same level, if you allow yourself to analyze what that artist did and how they got to the point they got, which is very public now for the most part, even with the masters of back in the day, you'll see that it was never only about the art. It was always something. Either their marketing team was good, either they have a way to portray their art. They were very articulate. They were able to be storytellers. They either had their own style. They had a unique way to create art. So it's on you as a beginner to do that groundwork. And this is where a lot of people don't tend to explain this or share this information with anyone. Why? Because it is an advantage if you know that you need to do that. If you want to become a comic artist, don't just copy the art of the greats like Jim Lee, because for me, the first month, that's what I did. But I only allowed myself to do that for 1 month. For 1 month, I allowed myself to see go into the entire comic industry. For my experience, the first month, like I started, when I decided that I wanted or I was kind of interested in becoming a comic book artist, the first thing I did was look into the industry, see who was famous at the moment, who I can learn from, what I actually naturally appeal to, and that's by visuals, what art stand out to me, and learn from the masters such as Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, people like Frank Miller, like people that actually appeal to me. You know, not just the people that were famous at that moment in time. You know, so allow yourself to do the research, the groundwork, and be honest about it, and then practice. You know, that is my third thing. Embrace other artists, but understand that you're in a competition and that it's not always yourself versus yourself. Last thing that I'm gonna share with you on this video, because I feel like it's getting a little bit longer, I just wanted to keep you here for 10 minutes, guys. I say always be on the lookout to learn and grow and stay open to different types of art. If you're a traditional artist where you're in a desk, you're trying to use watercolors, you're trying to use pencils, you're trying to use paint, acrylic paint, or oil painting, or whatever the case might be, whatever your art style is. And this goes to different realms too. It's not only about your traditional visual arts. It can be you're a musician, it can be you're a filmmaker, whatever the case is, right? Stay open to different arts. And the reason I say that is not because you necessarily have to practice those arts, or you're planning to practice those arts, but because you're allowing yourself to be creative. And this is something that I've learned just from my progress of trying to create a business and understanding that I was nowhere near to being a business person, and I'm still in the process, and I think I will never be able to achieve the type of mastery that I want to achieve, just because it's always evolving. Like business always is evolving. There's so many different parts to it that you have to really be always on your feet and aware of the changes that are occurring in the market. But as an artist, I see that a lot of people get stuck, or they get stale because they are not willing to allow something new into their own creative lives. You know, and I don't know if it's something that's how artists are, just because they see that people like Picasso always did the same thing, people like Van Gogh, people like Michelangelo, they all did the same type of art, and they keep themselves stuck there. And while that's a cool thing to see, I see art from a different point of view. I see it from I want to be an artist, but I also want to be able to create real money from it and make it a career that is fruitful. And for that to happen, I've allowed myself to understand that it's not only about the art, it's also about marketing. It's also about the story that you bring with your art, the story that you have as an artist, and being able to take inspiration from different markets. For me, and this is just my personal, and I hope that you can kind of have this self-reflection for yourself after this video. For me, I pull inspiration from movies, I pull inspiration from sports, I pull inspiration from horror as a genre, I pull inspiration from anime, I pull inspiration from comics, I pull inspiration from shoes, from trends, from musical artists. And when you bring that into the industry, that's where you create your own original art, and that's how you're gonna stand out, because you're not the same cookie cutter artist copying or just creating comic book art, you know, or you're not creating just portraits, or you're not creating just animal art, or you're not creating just abstract art. You're creating different styles of art that might appeal for a bigger, broader audience. But the trick here is to understand that it is going to take time for you to get out there, because in this realm And in this time that we live in, unfortunately, you do have to have a niche in a sense, because the algorithms within these applications that we put our content on, they tend to push to an audience only. But if you are in this for the rest of your life, like I am, I will never stop doing art as long as I can do it physically. If I can draw, if I can bring something to life with my mind, and this is why I'm trying to become better. This is why I'm trying to also get into filmmaking, get into a screenplay writing, just writing in general. That's why I'm trying to learn new things and new skills so I can actually evolve my art. If you're in it for the rest of your life, regardless of how old you are, you will make it in your own way. You will get there at your own pace, and you're okay with that. So yeah, guys, I hope you found something helpful from this video, and my apologies if I'm not giving you the best or the most attention talking to you directly, because I am in the middle of traffic. But I did feel like I had this video in me that I wanted to put out to the world. So if you did find this somewhat helpful, go ahead, subscribe. I will bring more information. I'm doing a reflection of the last 2 years of some of my art, because I actually just filled out one of the professional portfolios that I had, and I just literally just put the art that I've been making on there. There's nothing professional about it, just the art that I've been creating. And I finally filled it up, which is about 50 pieces or 50 art drawings that I want to share with you guys, so you guys get an idea of the different things that I've been doing with maybe the last 3 years. And that's just maybe a fraction of everything that I've done. But I kind of like the aspect of having something on a portfolio, on a binder that I can share with you guys, so you can find some inspiration, man. I started this journey, generally started this 5 years ago. And within those 5 years ago, I feel more confident about my art. I feel more confident about what I'm doing. And I feel okay with going through my life doing this shit, because it is a full-time journey, and a full life journey. So I hope you guys find it helpful. If you did, I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this fucking traffic. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.